Hi there YouTube, Big G back again with another video, and time for another arcade build. Some time back I got Sky Soldiers, a great shooter that I purchased, and it's been sitting around. I took the motherboard and all the bits and pieces out because the cabinet was really in bad condition. So I've decided to build another arcade cab for it. And the first thing I did is I browsed the net to look for different plans, and I found a few. I'll leave a couple of links below of different arcade bar top cabinets that you can do. And using these sort of designs as inspiration, I decided on building my own. So the bits and pieces that I managed to gather was basically stuff that was lying around that I already had. So firstly, the motherboard, important for the game, the cables and so forth. A converter board, because I'm not going to be using the original monitor that it came with. I'm rather going to use an old computer screen monitor or LCD screen. A lot lighter, a lot easier to handle, and you know, got a great picture, and these boards work great with it. I've used them before. Converts that signal from the original motherboard through the jammer harness through to the LCD. A couple of buttons, you know, get them from China, really cheap. A joystick, got two new little 8-way joysticks, and with a little bit of elbow grease, I'm sure we'll get this cabinet looking really great. So yeah, join me as we start this quick little project for my new Sky Soldiers cab. Okay, so I'll speed this up a little bit. So firstly, the measuring up, very important guys. Measure twice, cut once, they say, and this is particularly true using the good old jigsaw. Now the board that I'm using is just your plain old chipboard or compressed wood board, same stuff they make built-in cupboards out of and so forth. I had a big sheet of this lying around, so just went and measured out my design on the board using the good old jigsaw. Messing up my wife's entertainment area always makes me very, very popular, and just using a couple of G-clamps on the table outside just to keep it down, and just trying to cut as neatly and evenly as possible. Here you can see all the different bits and pieces. So I've laid out all the pieces for the actual build, looking quite nice. Now this board doesn't cut too nicely. You can see it's quite rough shape, but it should be fine. I am going to paint it and put some transfers on and so forth. Now to start assembling it, again just using plain old chipboard screws. I'm just going to put it all together, keep it as simple as possible. I'm not going to make it too fancy, and it's starting to take shape. You can see the general design of it. It's nothing too fancy, nice little bar top, and there I've just got the buttons in just to see how it's all fitting together, and the inside of it, I'm keeping that as open as possible so I can just fit the boards in. I'm not going to make it too difficult, and it's actually looking quite nice. I like the shape. I've gone for the buttons. Now we move on to the painting, and good old Rust-Oleum is a great paint. You can see I'm painting in my work clothes. Yeah, if my wife catches me, I'm in trouble. But anyway, I couldn't resist coming home after work and giving it a good spray paint. Now we move on to the edging. Now this stuff's great. You buy it, you cover off those horrible edges of the chipboard where you've cut. You actually iron this on. So instead of using that T-molding that I used on the previous board, this you just iron on. So the heat allows the glue to go soft, and you actually iron on these strips. First time I've ever used it, it actually works quite nicely. I don't think it's too durable, so an arcade cab that's going to be handled a hell of a lot, this won't work for it. Rather use that T-molding, the rubber T-molding will be a lot more durable than this. But this actually looks fine, it works fine, it's easy to put on, and it gives a nice finish as well, and the novelty of ironing something on as well. That's why I wanted to try it, but it actually worked out quite alright. Nice and smooth. And now the rest of it. The angles become quite difficult to iron on. You know, maybe use a heat gun or something like that. Maybe that will work a lot easier than using this sort of iron-on method. But I found it alright. You know, as long as there's heat applied, it goes soft and it glues nicely. And I must say, it sticks quite nicely to the actual chipboard edging. and there you can see it, nice and smooth, compared to the other edges where you can see I haven't put anything on yet. It does give a nice finish. Okay, now starting to get the bits and pieces together, getting the wiring up together. So I just wanted to make sure everything worked before I put it all together, so I've just sort of got it haphazard, getting everything in there, seeing how everything fits, and just making sure that it does power on. And now you can see I'm starting to get to the end product. You can see I've got the control panel in, I've got the 1 and 2 player and the coin up buttons in the bottom there, just using old buttons. I did change the horizontal screen to a vertical screen, so I had to redo that. And I'm going to be able to put a plexiglass cover over the top of it. I'm most probably going to paint that inside as well. But otherwise you can see it's starting to look nice, starting to get shape. I've neatened up the back a bit. It's got everything in it's trying to get it into its order and into its placing, screwing it all down, trying to neaten up the wiring, which you can see is not too neat, and especially trying to get the LCD to stay nice and firmly fixed. I just went and screwed on a couple of pieces of plank at the back of it, and there you can see I've just given it another coat of paint on that screen, and now I've put the marquee on. You can see I've started putting on some of the actual artwork. It's just stuff that I've downloaded off the internet. I couldn't find really a Sky Soldiers cab, a complete cab that I could actually use as a design base for me to use. But you know, I'm going to download more artwork and put it onto the plexi screen. But otherwise the marquee doesn't look too bad. And I'll still put on all the different labels for the different buttons and so forth. The side art as well. You know, I might end up doing a bigger piece of side art, the same as the actual side, so that it doesn't, you can see this has been stuck on, and I don't quite like that. I think I'm rather going to use a bigger piece of vinyl with the side art on, and maybe just design something myself in order to get it looking a lot better. You can see, because that, I mean, you can see that Sky Soldiers at the bottom there. Maybe do something with a little bit of, you know, in paint and on the PC, and design it myself and then put it on. Okay guys, that's the end of part 1, and you can see it's taking shape nicely. Now I just want to do the finishing touches to it. You know, as you could see, I've played around with some of the artwork. The stuff that I managed to get off the internet, it's not a hell of a lot on. I mean, here's a marquee, and you know, I need to make a control panel, the advertisement for the original game. And you know, what I'm thinking of is maybe cutting and pasting some of this artwork out of here onto a full vinyl side, so that I can just finish it off properly. And you know, together with that other Sky Soldiers artwork that I've already got on there, sort of mix and match it up and see if I can get it looking as close to the original as possible. As I said, I haven't really managed to find a hell of a lot on Sky Soldiers game or a cabinet to copy and try and keep it original. But anyway, you know, however it turns out, it's good fun getting there. So guys, yeah, cheers from me, and I hope you enjoyed that. And keep it retro.